Welcome back, everybody. It's Rama from Junk Journal Divas. Hello, my friends. I've got my coffee in hand. Kids are at school. So today I've got these fabric scraps, these boho fabric scraps, and I want to make some boho Christmas trees. Now these are backed, so they've got some, they're not quite so flimsy and they're really easy to work with, but I'm still going to back them with some cardstock. Now, if you have bought some of the strips and things from me, one really easy way to back them is spray adhesive. And I'm just going to mention this in all my videos, just in case people miss it. Because sometimes, you know how glue is just really, I don't know, especially the Fabri-Tac. I just don't like the Fabri-Tac. I actually prefer this one, Mod Podge fabric glue. It's kind of pasty. So I don't know, I just like it a lot better, of just a thin layer to hold your fabric in place. And it doesn't have that, I don't like, first of all, the smell of Fabri-Tac, and I don't like how it's like that gel and it's really wet, so it seems to seep through your fabric all the time. This doesn't do that. I'm actually surprised so many people love the Fabri-Tac so much. You can use this if it's a little bit thicker, or use a spray adhesive. And I know Scotch, like Scotch tape, Scotch makes a spray adhesive, and also Gorilla Glue, they make a spray adhesive. So those are options for backing your fabric like this. So I want to make some little mini journals. So I actually cut a sheet of cardstock in half because this is going to be kind of the size of my journal, and this kind of helps me. I'll know how big I want to make my Christmas trees to put on the front. And so if I want to do, let's see, I might want to give some room if I want to put a star or something. So let's cut this out just to kind of use as a template. Usually I make these, but I end up not really using them. But to start out, I like to have a little bit of an idea. All right, so we've got our shape, and let's see here. I think if I go this way, I can actually get, two trees out of here, tall, skinny ones. Let's see how this works out. I'm holding this very carefully. Not so bad. I'll just pull this part off. And I guess this is the middle section from where it was folded, and this works too. Let's see. And I keep all these little scraps. I mean, if they're not too ridiculously small, because I might need those. Okay, so we've got our trees, and now let's see, I want to put little trunks on our trees. I've got this piece that's already nice and small. Let's cut. All right, so I made the template, but I guess I'm not really using it because it's good to have just to know what size I want. Now, I made these last year and I keep thinking of different shapes, but honestly, this is such an easy shape. And I know I asked people for their opinions. Some people said stars, but I don't know. It's just, they're harder. Okay, so this isn't even fabric glue. This is just my my art glitter glue that I use all the time. And honestly, I love this glue. Unless it's something really heavy, you know, like a heavy fabric or a heavy embellishment or something that I need to use different fabric glue or the E6000, I use this glue all the time. It's definitely my go-to glue. Okay, so let's back this puppy. Okay, and then we'll put the trunk on. I'm thinking like I can cut this one. In half, there we go. So we've got trunks for those guys too. Let's see, do I need to make this smaller? It's just a little big. That looks kind of better. Okay. So let's put this guy on. And then when I embellish, I can put something along the edge here at the bottom, glue it on. Okay. So, off to a good start. Finish gluing these guys. Now, of course, if I wanted to do some slow stitching, these are already so embellished. I'll probably just glue some other little gems or pieces on these and give it a star. But if you want to do some slow stitching, I would do that first and then glue them onto your back. Now this piece is nice because it's all green. So I've got pink. Let me see. I really like this. Look at this one. So fancy. Then I've got some reds. Gonna do just pink first, so let's see. Ooh, this one's really fancy too. Look at that one. So I'm speeding this part up, and I just wanted to show a little bit more of this process of I'm just cutting out the shape of the tree, and then I'm gluing them down on the cardstock, and then I add my trunk. So I've got my whole tree, and then I can cut them out of the cardstock, and I'm ready to embellish them, which is the fun part. So if you fold your fabric like I am doing here, it's kind of cool because you get two of your trees, but then you also have that section that you folded that ends up being a tree also. So I'm just finishing to glue all of these down, and then I'm going to cut them out. And I found that I liked my small scissors to go around the trunk. Just made it a little bit easier. So I'm kind of switching here. Okay guys, I am back, and I wanted to talk about embellishing some of these. So you can see I went a little crazy. These are all trees that I cut out. And then I also have all the little pieces, the little scrap pieces I save because I can cut those and use as the trunks. So I've got those aside here. And then I just wanted to show that I have made these into mushrooms also. So you can see just little things that I glued on. Put a little piece of trim here, some add-ons, buttons. This is a little piece of trim. I was gonna test out some different seam binding at the bottom. I have a bunch of these little gem things. Yeah, I'm sure we all have this stuff, and rolls of these things that you can cut. I have some buttons and little flowers here, just various things down in this little box. And then I have this bunch of, I just snipped off little pieces of these trims. So we are going to play. I'm gonna do these blue guys first. And what I usually do is try to put these together in sets of, say, like, I think I was doing 5 sets of 5. Let's see, those can go together. This is a lot of the same thing. So I might want to separate those. Maybe if I put these two with this. So that's 4 up there. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so I have 5 little trees, and I don't know why. I'm just thinking 5 sets of 5. Now, see how these are all the same? I'm thinking maybe I want to separate them. Do we want them all to be so matchy? Is the question. Let me see. For this one, we've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, the reason I kind of separate them is I want to use the same color of trim so that if they're being used in a journal, they kind of match a little bit. So let's slide these guys up here. And I'm going to play with these. Now you can see, like, this is the way it came, and this huge, let me see. That's 3-inch wide. So this is why I grabbed this one, because I want to show you, I always say don't be afraid to chop it up. So I've got my little scissors, and let's see, what do we want to do here? Okay, so I'm going to try to cut this right here. Now this is where, for some of these things, like, got to experiment to see which glue I want to use. I do have some of my quick dry tacky glue, and I have some of the E6000 for some heavier things if I need it. Like I'm going to take this one, that's because these have this along the bottom. So if I use this to go along the bottom of these guys, let's see. That looks awesome. Let me get my tweezers I might want to use. So I'm going to cut this right here. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue along the bottom here, and I'm just using this tacky glue. Okay, then press that down here. That looks so good. So I'll put some, oh, this does have a little gem here, but it looks like it's kind of coming up. So maybe I can, let me see. Maybe I can put some glue up here. It's like hanging on by a thread. I think I can kind of twist it to go the other direction, maybe. There we go. Let's see, so I'm going to cut this one right here. Okay. So cute. All right. So I'm also going to put something at the top, like little toppers on these. Let's see. And you guys, I love French knots. Like I think a bunch of French knots would be super cute because they kind of look like little, you know, the Christmas balls ornaments. Maybe I want to put a couple red ones on these. Let's do that. Because we've got the red thread here. So let's see. Now these drive me crazy because they always go flying when I try to pick them off. Okay. So the other ones have more stuff going on. We'll just kind of, to tie them all in, I'll just put a dot or two. Okay, so got that done. Now let me see if there's anything else on here. Maybe I want to use something from here on the top of these. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this part. for example, this is just a really little piece that I kind of chopped. So there, so you can put this as a topper. Whoops. Okay, so I'm just going to use a dab of my glue. Stick this guy on there. Hold it for a minute. Super cute. And then I can use these little pieces even. So let's cut those. So you guys see how small these pieces are. This is just a little tiny piece of trim that I can use that will actually embellish several of these. So since this has it at the bottom, this one's smaller. Let me see what it would look like with this at the top. Oh, I love the blue. So cute. I think on this one, I'll put a piece of this here. So I'm going to speed up the video, and I just wanted to show a few more of the trees that I made so you can see the different kinds of embellishments that I used. So maybe that can give you some inspiration. Okay guys, it is the next morning and I'm back working on my trees. Okay, so I don't know what it is with sets of 5 with these, but that's what I'm doing. So I've got those, I've got these green ones, and the rest red right now that I'm working on. I have this piece of trim. Now this was, let me put it like this. This had the pearls on the end of it. So I cut that. Like I said, don't be afraid to cut your trims. And then let me just cut this off. Sometimes these have this, if you can see that little mesh piece, to cut that off because otherwise it's the mesh that you have sticking to your glue. Okay. And then if you can see these 5, this bottom piece, this was a thick piece of trim, and I just cut it and put a little piece along the bottom. So, I mean, it can be that, it could be a little strip of, I had some lace. Like, doesn't that look cute? Like this tree, and if you just put this little bit of lace at the bottom, totally makes a big difference. So, all right. And then on these, I put some buttons here. It's really like just going through all of your stuff and thinking, you know, what do I have? What do I have to use? Let me see if I can cut this off here. I should have put the trim on before the button. See, I was trying to go underneath the button, but that looks cute. See, I could put some on this one. This needs something, but do I want to do, let's do a thicker piece on this. Okay, so I'm going to cut it here. And I don't know, for whatever reason, it seems to stick better if I just put the glue right on to my piece instead of putting it, you know, the glue on the tree and then sticking it. I don't know. Maybe it's in my head. I'm actually going to see if I can remove this. And of course I glued it down, but that's okay. So we're going to cut it right here. So I pretty much found my little flow here. You know, when you're doing the same thing over and over again and you kind of figure out a method. So I'm starting off with the trim at the bottom, and then I'm adding the little, you know, the little balls, the gems, and I discovered that it looks kind of cute also if you make it look like some tinsel or garland on your tree. So just play around in whatever you can come up with. Okay guys, I've just done a ridiculous amount of these. They're just so fun to make, and once you get started, I just couldn't stop. So I'm going to show you what I did here. I'm going to keep some of these to send out for Diva Delights, and I'm going to put some of these sets in my shop also. If you are interested, I'll hold them up on a piece of cardstock. So I did this set with the oranges. So we've got like little splashes of pink in here. You can see this, all the little different pieces that I cut up and put all these little little blingy things on. So you can see this one is a little bit bigger. I like this. This was on the piece of fabric, so of course I had to save that and keep that piece on there. And then I just added a bunch of the little blings in my fancy trim. Okay, and then I've got all the pinks with this fancy trim. Now I did try, last year I did do slow stitching, but honestly I just glued the stuff on. This year it's easier, and yeah, it kind of got to be a pain trying to slow stitch because I'm not very good at it, but if you are good at it, like here you can see there's a bunch of beads stitched on, and then there's this one. I love the colors of this one. And I like this trim, so I started using the white trim a lot. I thought it just really made it pop. And the circles are little pieces of trim that I cut up. Another blue set. Put flowers on the top of these. And then I have the blue with the red trim and some red blingies. And then more pink. Lots of bling on this one. Another with the pinks. Got some blues on there too. And then one that's a little more traditional Christmas. This might be one of my favorites. I love the pink and blue. We have green. I love this one with the purple, green and purple. And here's one that I added buttons to. And this one kind of another traditional Christmas colors. And another one with some pastels. And this is the last one that I have to show. So I hope I inspired you guys to try some of these and just have some fun with your fabrics and your trims and see what you can come up with. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you soon for some more crafty adventures.